Welcome to your weekly airplane news update. We have 4 stories for you this week. PSI Testing is having issues and that is causing some industry pushback. There's a change to testing times on some of the FAA exams. Also, Red Bull landed a short takeoff and landing aircraft on a helipad, which is pretty nuts. And then lastly, the air races are sadly leaving Reno. So let's get to it. Your first story, this one is a big one for those of you that have anything to do with flight training. PSI, the company that currently has a monopoly for written tests with the FAA, is under fire by large groups such as EAA and AOPA. In case you didn't know, at the beginning of this year, PSI decreased the fee that they pay to the testing centers for completing the exams on their behalf. They cut that by 66%, leaving about $22 to the testing centers per exam, which is, which is not cool. As a result, many of the testing centers, as we expected, have stopped proctoring for PSI, and then this is beginning to lead to less availability. Who would have thought? And then those that are completing written tests. Now, we'll be watching on this story. What the most amazing thing to me is that the FAA is still refusing to allow new testing providers in the middle of all this and continuing the monopoly that PSI has. So not a great situation. Now, along with the same topic of flight training, available time for the commercial pilot written exam, the CAX exam, and the private pilot exam have also been reduced. This change is going to go into effect on April 24th of 2023. For private pilot, the exam time is going to be decreased from 150 minutes, 2.5 hours, down to 2 hours. For the commercial one, it's going to go from 180 hours down to 150 hours, 3 hours down to 2.5 hours. Now, these changes were in cohort with PSI. Now, I'm sure there is a reason for that behind it, and it's probably not a good one, but what you see also on top of all this is the fact that these exams are getting 5 more questions. So the private pilot goes from 60 to 65. Now, this change is 5 questions that are added that are not going to be graded. These are questions that the FAA and PSI are testing, I'm sure, to eventually add into the database. So on the commercial side, you're getting from 100 to 105. So starting in April, when you see those changes, this is what's going on. All right, the third story this week is a cool one. Red Bull landed a carbon cub on a 78-foot diameter helipad in Dubai. The video is pretty epic, and the project is was to heavily modify the carbon cub, changing the CG, increasing the horsepower, and cutting weight, essentially pretty much turning it into somewhat of a helicopter at that stage, and then just doing hover flight. It was pretty cool. Those modifications were done by Mike Patty, and the aircraft was flown by Luke Suppelia. I hope I said that right. And the final story this week is that the Reno Air Racing Association, the RARA, announced that 2023 will be the last year for the air race held in Reno. The Tahoe Airport Authority has made a decision to sunset the event, with this year being the last hurrah. RARA says that they are committed to finding a new location to hold the air race. However, prospective venues have not been announced just yet. So we'll keep you posted on this. If you haven't been to these air races, they're pretty cool. We might actually even try to make a run for it because that's the last one close to us. So that's all I got. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next weekend.